Style Podcast. Hey, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast, a safe space where we get real and go deep to explore the intersection of modern spirituality, entrepreneurship, identity, and purpose. Hosted by intuitive artist and entrepreneur Daniela West, join us as we explore the transformational journey of becoming more fully you, whole, healed, and human. Hey there, and welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast. So in today's episode, we're going to have a really interesting conversation. We'll be speaking about our journeys as expats, discovering astrology and human design, and how spirituality and surrender have helped us along the way. So to expand more on this, I'm bringing in a really special guest today. I'll be speaking with the lovely Diane Nnaemeka, a world traveler, astrologist, spiritualist, community builder, and founder of the Women in Business and Abundance community for women entrepreneurs. So Diane, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I loved your own introduction, and then the way you introduced me was perfect. Yes.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it. And really, I'm so excited to have you here today because, you know, as an expat, as a fellow entrepreneur, as a fellow astrologer, there's just so much to explore together and so many parallels in our lives, like uncanny parallels. So I'm just really excited to dive in with you. And where are you right now?
Currently, I'm in Hanoi in Vietnam.
So cool. Yeah. So let's kick it off. Can you, dive into sort of the journey that led you to Vietnam? Let us know kind of the journey that brought you to the work you're doing today and where you currently are.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with Vietnam or maybe just Southeast Asia in general. Like growing up, I don't have any Asian roots. Like, there are people growing up, like you're into anime and maybe like certain shows that have like, it's just a lot of Asian influence. I never was into it. Maybe besides Digimon, if you count that, and Digimon. I
love
myself.
Digimon. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, it's something where I didn't see it coming, but I think it is its own spiritual journey to even be somewhere in the world where you don't have any roots. Your family's not from here. You came here by yourself. Like I came to Thailand by myself and Vietnam by myself. So that's what it's been. It's been an amazing journey. And also I think the series of events have led to a lot of reflection, and also just like getting to a space where I'm more sure of myself than I probably have ever been in my life, even though I don't know how things are going to go, but it's that sureness. Like, I think I'm in the right frame of mind in the right space. So yeah, that's me in Vietnam so far, the journey.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting. I can relate so much because I'm currently in Spain right now. It's actually my fifth time living in Spain over the last 10 years. I've sort of been back and forth between Spain and the US. And it was similar for me where I don't have any family in Spain. I don't have any ancestral roots that I know of in Spain. I just felt called. I don't know if it was a deeper soul subconscious level, but since I was about 20 years old, I just really instinctively felt called to come over here and experience life and get immersed. Was it kind of similar for you, or what was that? What was like the feeling that brought you to Vietnam?
So Vietnam, it started off with me having like a border run, like when you live in Thailand, or I guess I don't know if it's only Asian countries, I'm not sure, but you have you have an allotted amount of time you can stay if you don't have like a longer term visa, and then you have to either go do like a border run, as in go to like a country like by car, for example, like a same day thing and come back, or you can fly out. And at that time, last year, the weather in Chiang Mai was it was bad because it was smoky season. So I'm like, okay, if I don't have a longer term visa at the moment and the weather's not great, let's just try Vietnam. I've never been there. And that's
Mhm.
what led me here. And the first city I was in was Da Nang. And wow, I've never lived near the beach in my whole life. Like, learned so much about living from water. I was always moisturized. Like, no one talks about that.
Moisturized.
Always moisturized by that's seawater. And then
Mhm.
coming to Hanoi, it's a different city. It's very busy. It's bustling. Like the city's alive. It kind of has it's like a sexy-ish vibe to it. I don't know. Like when I see people
Mhm.
going out at night, I'm like everyone's like dressed up. Like we have places to go, like things to do, people to see.
Yeah.
It's a different flavor, and I have lived different lives in this year. Yes.
Different lives. Oh, that's super interesting. Like w- in this region of the world, you do you feel that you've actually lived different lives even in the same city?
So the first city I was in the south. It's like near the sea, Da Nang. And then Hanoi is
Mm.
more towards the north. And I think because it's completely different cities, but then also like just in a different frame of mind, like the whole process has been even taking me from what I used to do in work, which was ESL teaching. Like I used to do that way more full time, but it's like
Mhm.
at this point in my life, it is just not really what I do anymore. And it's a
Mhm.
shift. So I look at it
Yes.
as like in the two different places I have had such a huge shift and also the growth, like what's important to you in your life. I actually have to say it may not be so much about the city as much as the period of time I'm in my life.
Mhm.
But in this time, it's just been like a process. Like it's just been ongoing and it keeps going. The changes I've had, like I've
Wow.
changed so much. I had like no choice. It feels so.
Oh my gosh. I completely understand. I really do. And I don't know if I'm wondering if the shifts can be accelerated through travel, if that makes sense. Like
Mm,
in shifting your environment, I wonder if you've experienced that shifts things internally more for you rather than just staying in the one place. Has
mm.
has that been a theme for you?
I kind of do think so. I think like the movements, like the
Mhm.
years I was in Thailand, I got to a point where, I mean, COVID was part of it, but I hadn't been on a plane in a few years. And the first trip
Yeah.
I took was to Cambodia for another border run at that time. And I was
Mhm.
like scared. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting on a plane. I haven't traveled in a while. But now the past year with like all the crazy events, I'm like, traveling is nothing. You're gonna travel, you're gonna get to where you need to go. If you don't have everything, you will figure it out. And also just
Mm,
knowing like the base things you need to do when you get there. So it's alleviated a lot of fear because I
yeah.
think it's made me more aware of the fact that like what control? There is no control. So like you might as well just enjoy where you're at.
Oh, I love that mindset. That's one of the things I love most about travel is like, okay, for me, for example, I've probably moved 20, 25 times in the last decade. A lot of moving. And
Wow.
every move comes with its challenges, you know? But I think the best part about it is it really builds this inner strength and this inner resilience and almost this, for me, it's been kind of this daredevil energy of thinking, okay, I may not have every single thing figured out about this move or about this trip. I may not have, an entire A to Z to-do list of how I'm going to do this, but I have the vision in mind. I know where I want to be, I know where I'm going, and I trust myself enough to take that first step, you know, to dive into the unknown, to let the other steps unfold.
Yeah.
Has that been your experience as well?
Yes. We kind of talked about it the other day. I guess this was more of the astrological part of it, like the moon, like shining a path and you can't see and you're just going off of faith. Like it's just
Yeah.
faith. You literally cannot see the path. There's nothing to see. It is dark.
Yeah, it's scary. It is scary in the dark. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been really I think things do kind of they bring these gifts out of you, like the gift of resilience, like
Mhm.
knowing that even if things get a little crazy, it's like you can stand still and look around you and be like, this is just a cycle. It's not going to last forever. And then when you come out of it, because something I realized, and this particular part is about astrology, it's made me think of Saturn a lot, made me think of like the
Mm.
lessons learned with
Mhm.
Saturn, but how even if it's tough, you don't have to go through it again. I mean, it's your choice. Like, if you want to kind of stay in the cycles and the loops of certain things, I feel like the universe is like you're more than welcome to, but that's your own version of suffering. But when you
Mhm.
learn some things, you don't have to do it again. Like it's just done.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel like you are summing up the more specifically the last 6 months of my life. I've been thinking a lot about that, and I want to touch more on the big shift that you mentioned earlier, because I've been going through a really similar shift in my life where I started off also as an English teacher. That's what brought me to Spain originally.
Yeah.
And 15 years later, after my first experience as an ESL teacher, I came back
Mhm.
to the same country to do that same experience, but in a different city. And what I found was a huge internal shift for myself, where there were just so many things about that role or that environment I just couldn't tolerate anymore. For
Yeah.
me, it just felt like nothing was clicking, nothing was flowing. I knew I was feeling called to a different line of work or a different way of impacting people, a different way of showing up in
Yeah.
spaces. And
Yeah.
and I love that you mentioned Saturn, because when you say that, I think about karma and the karmic lessons that our soul comes into this world designed to learn, like those biggest challenges that are so frustrating and awful to go through sometimes, incredibly incredibly challenging, but it's almost like our soul chose to go through these very specific lessons so that we could choose to see them from a new perspective and
Yeah.
finally break away from them so we stop repeating these karmic
Yes.
patterns. Has that been your experience when you talk about Saturn and the shift you've been going through?
Yes. I like first I want to touch on you with like the uh how will I say it? Or touch on. Sorry.
Mm, that's
I want to
good.
touch on. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting.
So many
But
interesting things, yeah.
the coming to Spain and like 15 years ago was one experience, and now it's a
Yeah.
different experience because this reminds me of a time in Thailand where I wasn't teaching in person anymore, but I was burnt out from teaching online. It's like you're in
Mm,
person, you go online, you think like, oh, it's better. I was like in five different companies at one time, like trying to like fill in my schedule, like okay, like this one doesn't get paid, this one doesn't pay that much, but it will work for now, and then like this one pays the most but they can't give you that many hours, and it was just a mess. It was
mhm.
really a mess. So
Yeah.
there was a moment I remember thinking, it was a very clear thought. I was like, maybe teaching isn't for me anymore. Like, what am I going to do if I'm not going to teach? Like, what's next? And then I had a thought right after. And sometimes this happens, and I'm not really sure what this other voice is because it came in like really quickly. But it
Mm,
was like, you're going to find out what's due. Like, you're gonna enjoy yourself, you're gonna have fun. Like,
mhm,
if this doesn't work, like it there was something I heard, but it also gave me the impression that it's like it's not really about what you're doing per se, it's like what you're learning, but also being in
mhm,
aligned spaces and you're not in control of how long something's gonna last. Like English teaching, it has a certain income level unless if
mhm,
you're doing things like your own business. So if you want to do other things in your life, that won't be able to sustain you anymore. Sometimes if you're in the physical classroom, you have a lot of students, that takes a toll on your body after some years,
Yeah.
even like mentally, it's still a 9 to 5 thing. If you find out in time 9 to 5 is not your thing, it's not going to
Mhm.
work anymore. But that's really life. Like things happen and it's like it just doesn't work anymore. So that's why you feel burnt out, you feel sad, you feel upset, you just feel so out of it. So
Yeah.
that was part of it for me. That was part of it
Mm.
for me. The shift was realizing that I have options, even if it doesn't like look like it. Because like when you're doing business, so many things of business are so subtle. Like it's not really obvious. It's like you're just kind of like in this wave figuring things out, but
Yeah.
you have option. Even if you don't want a 9 to 5 job, you can offer your services. It just doesn't look like you can, but that's what it is. Like that's a reminder of faith. So that was a big part of the identity shift, to have options, and I have to just step out on faith because I want better things for my life. I want to like what I'm doing. If I'm going to work, I should like what I'm working in. I should like it a lot. So that was the
Yes.
shift.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh. I love that. I mean, if we're spending, the majority of our time and energy doing some type of work to support ourselves, why not enjoy that work, Why not
Yeah.
actually choose something we enjoy doing and you know, commit more to that path instead of buying into the belief that work is
Yeah.
work and, maybe you're miserable, but just stick with it because at least it pays the bills, right?
Wow.
Mm.
That's yes.
I know. It is. It really is. I mean, that's kind of the conclusion I reached after giving English teaching one last shot. So
Wow.
many years later, it was sort of my way of coming back to Spain. I wanted to experience that environment again and that lifestyle. And English was teaching was the quickest way, to drop in again. But it didn't take me long to realize that it just wasn't aligned for me anymore. And I felt like a completely different person trying to do
Yeah.
that job again. It
Uh,
was like
yeah.
I almost had to drop into a past version of me to be reminded of how far I've come, how much I've evolved the last 15 years. What are my priorities now? What values have shifted? Where is my focus? And I realized I had put myself in a container and in a role that was never going to allow me to grow in
Yeah.
according to my higher vision that I had very
Yeah.
clear in my mind even then. Um, And it was hard though. It was knowing all of that and feeling all of that. I felt so much chaos in my body, knowing how misaligned it felt. And I still really struggled to let go.
Yeah.
I really struggled to surrender and leave that behind and dive into the unknown and leave the income behind, even though it wasn't a lot of income. But
Yeah.
it wasn't a lot. I was like, "This is peanuts. I'm barely paying my rent with this," but it's
Yeah.
stable. It's the perception of that certainty that was so hard for me to leave behind. Have you experienced anything like that with the shift, that kind of letting go and releasing and surrendering into the unknown?
Yeah. Letting go is hard. There's an astrologer and mycologist that I followed on TikTok. I'm not always on
Mhm.
TikTok that much recently, but she said something along the lines of humans don't like change. Like that's one of the things, like humans don't like change. And I
Yeah.
just read and I was like, why is she so right all the time? Like everything she says, I resonate with it. I'm like, she's so smart. Like, why? Like this particular
Yeah.
thing, I don't want it to be true, but it's so true. And I want to say congratulations to you, even with the chaos of your journey, for just surrendering and trying, because, like, I think that is true about humans. And we stay in these things that just, there is nothing that's going to give us any more. But I don't think we are I don't know if it's trained or socialized. I don't know what the word is, but I don't think we in our brains look at life that way. It's like you can look at certain things like it's supposed to last your whole life, and that's not true. You move through
Mhm.
friends, relationships, jobs, interests. Like jobs is no different.
Mhm.
Um, so in
Yeah.
knowing that about the shift and then the letting go, like letting go was hard. And also because it was just last year I was in a position where it was like $10 an hour. And I was just like, ooh. I was
Yeah.
like, this is not
Like, that doesn't feel good, does it? Yeah.
good. But I was still suffering. Like the money was I'm laughing because it was so ridiculous. The money was just literally like the slowest trickle. I used a little bit
Mm.
of it. I paid my rent.
Mhm.
Finished. So, this is
Mm.
not life. Like literally, I was like, I might as well just say F it all and see what happens and offer my services because at least I'm in charge of my prices. Like, what is this?
True. Is that what ended up happening? Like, how did you transition into your astrology work and community building from that place?
Yeah, that is pretty much what happened. I
Yeah.
realized that business, like people have different businesses, but I think like you do what you're good at, you do what you know. Community building is really easy for me because it's
Mhm.
just a big part of it is just being in contact with people a lot, but you start
Mhm.
getting more strategic about it, like because you don't want to be on Facebook the whole day talking to people. So you have
Yeah.
your strategy and or you build your strategies. And then with astrology, I think I mentioned it that I took a bus from Da Nang to Hanoi, and I had about
Mhm.
$40 to my name. And then there was a typhoon that hit like 2 days after I came to this city.
Oh my God. Wow. We talk about timing. What?
Ridiculous.
Mhm.
I was in that point because in Da Nang the weather was quite mild, so I wasn't even checking the weather a lot in general. And I just
Mhm.
happened to check and it said there was a typhoon, and I was like, "You are joking!" And in the morning, I was like, "You guys are not you're not serious, Hanoi." And then the morning came, and then like the wind started, and I was like, "I don't have much food on me. I'm just gonna buy chips. I just got a lot of chips and noodles." And I was like, "I didn't prepare for this."
No, no. Nobody prepared you for that. That is wild.
At all.
Mm.
And then like that it was a Saturday. Oh, I remember the day. It was Saturday, September 7th, 2024. And then that evening I was like, well, the electricity is still on. The winds are out. Like the winds were a lot. It was so quiet outside. You heard nothing but the winds. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna start like offering my services. Why not? I'm not doing anything else. And that was really how I started.
Wow, you reached this point of like, you know what? Forget like F it. I got nothing to lose. I got nothing to
Yeah.
lose. I might as well just try.
Nothing to lose. I started talking to people on Reddit, offered a few people my services, and then it just like went from there. Like you just talk to people, they either want a reading or they don't, or they're interested,
Mhm.
something like that. And it's always this thing in business. You're just always in some kind of communication with people, and I'm just getting used to that. So that's
Mhm.
how it started.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I want to dive into our astrology a little bit since we're talking about astrology. I always think it's fun to dissect the at least the big three a little bit. So, what are your big three?
Okay, so I'm a Capricorn sun and a Libra moon. No, Libra sun. Wait, what did I say? Capricorn ascendant.
Right, let's start over.
What did I just say? I'm a Capricorn sun. I'm a Capricorn ascendant,
Okay.
a Libra sun, and a Pisces moon. Okay, yes.
Wait. Oh, wait. Libra sun, Pisces moon, Capricorn rising. Yeah.
Yes.
Libra
Yeah.
sun. Oh, Libra sun. So you must love beauty. You must love balance and harmony, I'm
I
guessing.
try to balance.
Yeah. I could see that being a little tricky. You've got earth, air, and water all kind of
Yeah.
running the show and your personalities. That's interesting.
But
Huh.
you know that I think with Capricorn and Libra, because they're both like cardinal signs, and you know, like
Yeah.
cardinal signs like start off like the seasons, and they say it's like boss energy. Whether
Yeah.
it's boss energy or not, I will say I honestly do think it gives me a kind of focus because like I'm very serious and intentional about what I'm doing. I want my life to be better.
Mhm.
I want to support people. I want to be
Mhm.
supported and make good money because
Yeah,
why
yeah.
not?
That's gotta be your Capricorn rising then. Definitely. It gives you like that natural sense of responsibility and yeah, a little bit more seriousness, but it makes you very trustworthy and very good with making money. I mean, that's must be natural to you.
It's getting better. It's not
Yeah.
natural to. They took a $10 an hour job last year.
Right. Right. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. But that's
Yeah. What
exciting. I
about your?
mean, oh me. So I'm in Aries sun, Leo moon, and Aquarius rising.
Ooh, Aquarius rising. Okay.
Aquarius. Yeah.
My in my head, are you really into like well, first I thought revolutions. First thing I thought was like
Yes.
revolution. And
It's
then
like
like the future, general,
mm-hmm.
um, groups, movements. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like Aquarius is like power to the people energy. Like
Yeah.
it wants the best for the collective.
For the collective. Yeah, it's so interesting. The more I've learned about astrology over the years, I realize how much my Aquarius rising energy has influenced my brand overall. Even the name, the Humanista Co, is very much about this revolution of humanizing brands, humanizing collectives, humanizing
Yeah.
our personal expression in the way that we show up as our truest selves. It's really,
Yeah.
for me, I actually created this as a movement to inspire and empower people to be the truest version of themselves, to be, who we were born to be by taking off all the masks of conditioning and all the things that we hide behind that block us from expressing who we truly are. So I
Wow. That is beautiful. And the whole time you were saying that, I was like, how on point is that? Like, you cannot make this up. Like, you really
oh,
can't.
isn't that wild? I had no idea that Aquarius energy, was impacting me and impacting. It is the vision. I got the vision for this brand in 2018, many years ago now. I had no idea that was in any way related to Aquarius energy of starting movements, or revolutionizing something or focusing on the collective and society as a whole. Um, Creating transformations, but not in a conventional way. It's very rebellious. Um,
Yes. This is your time. Pluto's in Aquarius. This is your
Thanks, girl. Yeah, it is an exciting time. I know for many it is also a very scary time because we're seeing so much chaos and so much dismantling of systems, that we've become so comfortable with. But I'm wondering if even, with your Libra placement, if you've kind of had an eye on this sense of like equality or balance within the larger scale, the global scale. I'm curious what your perspective is on the age of Aquarius right now.
I have just been thinking, like, because one of the first things, there were two things I saw on TikTok. First, I saw like how the last time this was going on, it was like the Revolutionary War of 1789. And like in that period, there was just a lot of crazy stuff going on in different parts of the world. And then
Yeah.
also, I think it was another TikToker, they brought up the thing, what's his name? Oh, Assassin Bay, like the guy with the United Healthcare. He, how do I say this? He unalived the United Healthcare CEO, but it was like that's a sign of the times because the healthcare system is horrible in the US. And
Yeah.
with that happening, it's like a sign like, hey, the people are coming back. We're taking our rights. Like, we're going to be
Hmm.
treated well. We need
Hmm.
healthcare. We need universal healthcare. That should not be denied to people. That's
Hmm.
ridiculous. And the
Yeah.
TikToker was saying, like, that's a good sign of the times. Like, get with it or you're going to have issues if you're not for the people. And I was like, right on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good insight. Yeah, it's like a time of really restoring balance and equality to very, very imbalanced societal structures that have been, yes, holding things up, but not from a stable foundation when it's from that place of imbalance. So for me, I am excited in a way to see how the world is going to continue shifting and in such a rapid way. Since Aquarius is the air sign, I feel it's a very fast aerial sort of perspective and movement as a society. Like fast changes are happening every day,
Yeah.
even with technology as well. It's been really interesting to
Some
observe.
weird things with AI. I've seen some weird things with robots. Do you
Yeah.
remember that movie, I, Robot?
I remember who was in that. I definitely remember the title. Who
I
was in that?
feel Will Smith, but I'm
Will
not a
Smith.
thousand sure.
I was thinking Will Smith. Yeah. Yeah.
There's another movie I'm thinking of, I Am Legend, but originally I'm thinking
Oh,
of I, Robot. But you know, in I, Robot, like the robots were taking over, and that movie was like 20 years ago. And I still
yeah.
remember how freaked out I was, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, robots! And now
Yeah.
it's happening. And I'm like,
I know. I
oh
was
my
like
God,
this. I was like, yes, this is hypothetical, but like this is where the future is headed. Even back then I could feel it. I was like, we need to be discerning and, keep our eyes on this technological advancement because that's what I mean about balance. You could go balls to the wall with these technological changes and evolution. I mean, we're pretty much unlimited in what we can create with technology, but I think it's so important to bring a sense of balance, to bring a sense of humanity to technology, to make sure we don't lose that the soul essence, of who we are as human beings showing up through technology and interacting. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
We should be
So
coexisting, not like technology ruling our lives. Like, it's not like, hey, let robots do everything. Like, no, we're still here.
yes, we're still here. We're still here. And yes, it's important to still maintain some autonomy, in in the way technology is advancing. I think especially as business owners, this actually leads me into the concept of human design, which I think is so interesting. I know we were both really interested in it. Um, I am curious, what's your experience been with human design in terms of, how you operate or what clarity has it given you into your life?
It is interesting because it reminds me of how I do astrology readings, and something I say a lot is that like one part of your chart may say one thing and this part will say another thing, but it's
Mhm.
like it's saying a similar thing just from different angles. And that's how human design looks to me. Because they're just things I'm taking from astrology and then human design. And I'm like, that's saying the same thing. Like in both
Mhm.
systems, it's like a theme of like groups. It's a theme of being, I'm very like corrective focused, if that makes any sense. Like I like fixing things. I like things being corrected. And I see it like in
Mm.
both systems, things being correct. Something else that I saw was it something with Mars? I don't remember exactly what it is right now. But then also even in the profile, like the 2-4, I was like looking at my astrology chart and I was like, oh, maybe that explains the moon in Pisces a little bit, or oh,
Mm.
maybe this in this house explains like the group thing a little bit. And I've just been bringing it together and then looking at my lived experiences and I'm like, yeah, I just
Wow.
need to focus on this and just like stay in this lane. Like this has been me the whole time. But of course, you don't always see these things. Because sometimes you're just in life and you're just like a motor and you're just going and going and going and nothing is making sense because you're not even looking at your life. You're just doing what people tell you to do. And it is unfortunate,
Oh my
honestly.
gosh. Yes, Diane. I could talk about this. I could talk about this all day long. I'm so excited hearing you talk about it because I've been coming to the same realizations. Studying human design as the science of differentiation, a system that helps us understand what makes us different from everybody else, pairing
Yeah.
that with astrology, which basically helps you uncover the same thing, just from a more cosmic, spiritual perspective. They're both inner blueprints. They're literally both tools and systems that we can understand to illuminate how we're naturally designed to be in this world, like our purpose, the
Yeah.
role we're meant to take, the specific strategy in which we interact with others is going to lead to the best results. Things like that I have found so interesting, and I've started working with clients, to dissect both systems, both charts, to really help people illuminate like the truth of who they are, which I think is so incredibly powerful. Because, like you said, if you don't understand who you are on a soul level, on a innate level, if you don't understand that blueprint, how you're designed to operate, it's so easy to get conditioned from all these other things outside of us. It's so easy to get lost in the trap of comparison, like,
Yeah.
oh, this seven-figure business owner built it this way. Follow my 10
Yeah.
steps to success, and you can have the replicate the same results. You know what I mean? Like I see her laughing. Like, have you seen this? I see this every day in the online space, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Or you can make 10K in 10 days if
Uh-huh.
you follow these exact steps. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, you can just stop. Because I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're lying per se, but whatever you're doing may not work for me. Also, on top of that, you may have just be doing something where generating a lot of money is easy. You could be trading. People like business is a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like people will have these
Mhm.
blanket statements when no one's really saying if they actually got there, how they got there. But they're using
Mhm.
that to reel in. You get reeled in. It's not what you think. And in
Yeah.
my mind, that's not fair. And if you haven't actually built something from scratch and you don't know how to do it and you haven't achieved this specific thing you're talking about, just don't talk about it. Just do
Mhm.
what you actually know how to do. Like people are getting
Mhm.
scammed every day. People are
Yeah.
getting lied to every day and people are confused every day and then it makes them feel
Mhm.
like they're less than when you just need to like go take a walk outside actually and just stop like paying attention to all this because it's just constant like
Mhm.
it's a lot.
It is a lot. And that's such an important point about deception, especially in the online space. I think yes, there's a lot of deception out there, but also some of it I do believe it's unintentional because
Mm,
let's say someone actually did, maybe someone did follow these 10 steps that unlocked 10K months for them. But why it worked for them was because they were following their innate blueprint and strategy, whether they were conscious of it or not. That's really what I've been observing. Like, let's say in human design, for example, you discover your type is a projector, right? Which is that's my type. I mean, that's the one I know best. So, projectors were meant to be guides and leaders. We're meant to share our unique perspective instead of being extremely productive and super action oriented and doing a lot of tasks. We're meant to have a very focused energy to guide people to results. So a projector's way of operating is going to be so different from what was your type? I think you told me generator.
a manifesting generator, yeah.
manifesting dinner. So you have a completely different way of operating. You have access to like unlimited natural energy. You're gonna impact people in a different way than a projector or a different type. So your way of building your success is gonna look very different from that of a projector, for example. So you're gonna have a totally different, like follow my 10 steps to success, what worked for you, it's not going to work for someone who has a different type, a different astrological blueprint. Maybe someone has totally different placements in their birth chart from you. Your
Yeah.
strategies might not be effective for someone who's built very differently. And I think that's where a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs teaching strategies, I think this is where it's really falling short because what works for, Jane Doe isn't going to work for someone who's designed opposite from Jane
Yeah.
Doe. And if that person tries to follow Jane Doe's method, there's going to be friction. There's going to be resistance. It's going to feel cringy because it's not natural.
Yeah. I have a story about that in the very
Oh.
beginning when I was starting out in my head. And actually, this was not last year. This was because there was a time I was just giving readings. There's a time I was
Mhm.
giving readings, and then last year I started more on the business part a little bit more. So when I started
Mhm.
more like actually like pushing it out more,
Mhm.
I thought if you just like tell people about what you do, then like obviously that's that's gonna equal clients. I was like, yeah, if I just tell them I give astrology readings, they're totally gonna pay for like this reading or this package. And I
Yeah.
was like, I did that enough to where I was like, wow, this isn't working.
Yeah.
This is not for me. This might work for
Mm.
someone else, but this is not for me. And it was a really big eye opener. So I have to say, like you saying that maybe some people what they're teaching, even if it doesn't work for everyone, it's unintentional. That I actually agree with that. That makes a
Mm.
lot of sense because
Mhm.
we're literally not all the same. And it kind of makes me laugh because since we're not all the same, there is no one blueprint.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's a good example, though. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. I mean, it's happened to me many times, There have been things I've invested in. There's been mentors that I've tried to follow their strategy. I even caught myself because unintentionally I started mimicking like a mentor I admired. I started speaking like them or even started designing, in the same style as someone I admired. And I didn't mean to. It was very subconscious. Um, that's because I didn't know what my inner blueprint was yet. I didn't have that clear understanding. So it was a very subconscious way of absorbing other people's energy and their ways of doing things and so almost their identity in a sense,
Yeah.
because I didn't have a clear sense of identity at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, business is beautiful and that like as you go on like your like your own personal identity, whether you want to call it branding or whatever, it gets stronger and you just feel better, more aligned. And that I'm actually really gonna think about that after our call. Like, it's not really about if this or that is possible. It's just more like your road to get there is gonna be different. And I guess if
Mhm.
things take time, it's like discovering what your road is. And even if that's something you want to do, like not everyone actually wants an empire. That's a lot of
Mhm.
responsibility, a lot of
Mm.
work, a lot of
Mhm.
money, a lot of people working under you. That is literally not for everybody. And that's fine. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. So I'm going to
100%.
be thinking about this. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's a really good point, and people's I mean, as an astrologer, like people's north nodes, their path to purpose, their destiny path, that's going to be very different for many different people. We have many very different destinies and purposes and roles that we came here to embody. And not everyone's here to be a big boss CEO or, eight-figure business owner. And it's completely okay. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what I love so much about astrology and human design, honestly. It's really like discovering your inner permission slip to be who you came here to be naturally, you know?
Yeah. You can just relax in it. Like you don't have to like
Yeah.
stress yourself out, like trying to make things work this and this way. Like just relax. Like just
Yeah.
do like what works for you. And of course, even though I say relax, like I know like things like fear and like doubt are still there and there's no issue with it. Like there's
Mhm.
no issue with the fact that it exists, but like you can relax more and just know that like what is in your blueprint and then what you're doing are in alignment and just feel natural in it. Like it's a relief.
Yes, I'm literally breathing a sigh of relief as you say that. It's like, oh, thank God I can literally just do what's natural to me. I don't have to be like anyone else, talk like anyone else. I can just be me and I can really find my definition of success following
Yes,
my unique path. Yeah.
yes. Well, I want to ask before I forget, I wanted
Oh,
to ask human design in your astrology chart, like what are the I guess is it the overlaps, the
yeah.
similarities? Like what
That's a really good question. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that as well. I mean, knowing that I'm a projector, designed to lead and guide others, I can find overlap there with, let's say, my sun in Aries, which also leans towards natural leadership. Um, Natural leadership, being a trailblazer. But it's very interesting. I think what's coming to mind most, I have four placements in Capricorn
ew.
in the 11th house, the house of spirit of astrology, the house of groups, the house of community. So I'm finding that it's almost like my inner blueprint is telling me you're meant to lead and guide a spiritual community.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I discovered this, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, oh. And then learning about human design has been really helpful to understand, but how? The how part. How do I execute that? I learned in my profile that I am a 4/6, which means with the four line. Do we share the four line in common? I think.
Yeah, we do.
For yeah, so it means we're natural networkers. We're natural connectors. We love people, which I also see that very related to the community piece in my birth chart. We love people, we love community, we love connecting. Our main opportunities in business are actually going to come through our network. So for me, learning about that, like I understand the what I'm here to do or build through astrology, and human design is helping me understand how I'm meant to go out in the real world and build it and leverage my network, or how to market it, how to interact with people, um,
Yeah.
without burning myself out. I'm not meant to be a hustler.
Whoop, whoop.
How
I
about
love these
you?
realizations.
Yeah. How about you? Have you noticed some key overlap with your charts?
The big thing, 'cause I touched on it a little bit earlier, but the big thing that's like coming together is the networking thing. Cause I'm literally remembering how it's happened recently. I
Mm,
connected with a woman in a group and we were talking about skincare. And
mhm.
then afterwards, somehow we started talking about astrology. And I mentioned that I do card readings also. And then she bought a card reading. And then
Oh,
a recent friend I've made, like, we did not meet originally. It was another woman connecting us, and then we became friends. And now she's buying an astrology reading, and I'm like, I should just make friends. Maybe that should be my strategy. Just befriend people.
you are a four. You are a line four in human design. That is the strategy. You are meant to just make friends and connections.
It's so funny though,
That's
because it was I was like, I didn't do anything at all. I didn't even expect it to happen. But
huh,
okay, universe. Yeah, let's just
yeah.
make
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, Diane. Oh my gosh, I could literally talk to you for hours and hours, and I, I
Fun.
we'll have to do a part two. Honestly, I think we'll have to be continued. Kind of series with Daniela and Diane. I think that would be fun.
Ah, a PD.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. Oh my goodness. Well, where can people find you? Where can they learn about your amazing services, your community?
Yeah. So first, I have my Facebook group, Women in Business and Abundance. You can just request to join inside the group. It's basically networking and then just asking, connecting questions, because I think the point in having a group is for us to connect. If you're connecting in the comments, connect in the DMs, maybe people do summits, podcasts, master classes, the different things you have going on, or inviting people to come and watch what you're doing, something like that. So that's what the group is for. And then I have just my main profile page, Diane Nnaemeka, where I just have updates about my business and life in general. And then my website has my astrology services, and that will be updated soon-ish because, yeah, my website needs to be updated.
Okay. Awesome, Diane. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I have loved
Yeah.
every second of this conversation. Yes.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody tuning in, whether you're watching or listening to this episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Sacred Style podcast. And I will catch you next time. Bye. Subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot to help grow the channel and impact more beautiful souls like you. And remember, keep flowing and growing, my friend. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.